So, what if I told you one of the most celebrated films in history has no actors, no plot, and zero constructed sets? It sounds like a puzzle, doesn't it? I mean, how could a Soviet film from 1929, without any of the stuff we think makes a movie, become this revolutionary masterpiece? Well, today we're going to unpack that very puzzle and figure out what makes this film so important.
And really, this one quote is the key to the whole thing. It's from the filmmaker Dziga Vertov, and it perfectly captures his philosophy. He wasn't interested in using the camera to tell made-up stories. Oh no. For him, the camera was a better eye, a superior form of vision. He was absolutely convinced that this machine could show us a truth about the world that our own human eyes just can't see. And that idea? It was the bedrock for his entire career.
Now, to really get how wild Vertov's vision was, you've got to remember what movies were like back in the late 1920s. Cinema was all about fiction. It was dominated by these big, sweeping dramas and stories that felt like they were pulled straight from the stage or a novel. You know, they had actors, they had fancy sets, the works.
And Vertov, he wanted nothing to do with any of it. He completely rejected that whole approach, even calling those movies bourgeois fairy tales. So his alternative was something he called kinopravda, which translates to film truth. And you can see the difference right here. Instead of faking reality with actors and scripts, he wanted to capture life caught unawares. For Vertov, the real story wasn't some made-up plot. The story was the act of filmmaking itself.
It wasn't just him, though. Vertov was the leader of this collective called the Kinoks, which basically means cameramen. And it was a real family affair. The group included his wife, Elizaveta Svilova, who was this incredible editor, and his brother, Mikhail Kaufman, a truly fearless cinematographer. The three of them were united by this one big revolutionary mission, to capture reality just as it is.
Okay, so they had this big philosophy, but how did they actually do it? How did they translate that idea to the screen? Well, that brings us to the technical wizardry of the film and Vertov's core concept, the kino eye.
So what is the kino eye? Well, it's not just about pointing a camera and hitting record. Vertov truly believed the camera was like a superhuman eye. Think about it. It can slow down time, speed it up, get into impossible nooks and crannies, and see the world in ways we physically can't. So for him, it wasn't about just documenting reality. It was about using the camera's unique abilities to create a deeper reality, something more profound than what we see every day.
And when you watch the film, this idea just explodes onto the screen in this kinetic storm of techniques that nobody had ever really seen before. I mean, you've got this insane rapid-fire editing, split screens showing different things happening at the same time, double exposures that blend images together. He literally plays with time, speeding it up, slowing it down, even running it backwards. And the camera's everywhere, in extreme close-ups, at these dizzying high and low angles. It just completely shatters your normal sense of time and space.
But all of this technical flash, it wasn't just for show. It had a very specific purpose. All of that energy was meant to capture the film's true subject, the vibrant, chaotic, non-stop pulse of a modern Soviet city.
Shooting in cities like Moscow, Kiev, and Odessa, the kino eye captured, well, pretty much the entire rhythm of life. You can see the whole spectrum here. The camera's there for the very beginning of life, at a birth in a hospital, and it's there for the end, at a funeral. We see people working in massive factories, then we see them relaxing at the beach, playing sports. It even captures the weird bureaucratic moments, like a marriage and a divorce being processed at the very same time.
And what's so important to understand is that Vertov isn't telling you what to think about any of this. There's no judgment, no narrator telling you a story. He's just an observer, showing you all the intricate gears of this new society turning. It's really a portrait of collective life, of industrialization. It's the raw energy of modernity presented as this massive, almost overwhelming, but also exhilarating force.
Now you can imagine, this film was a total shock to the system back in 1929. But its real influence, its true impact, that took decades to unfold. So now let's talk about its incredible legacy and how this one experimental film literally helped shape the future of filmmaking.
Believe it or not, when it first came out, a lot of people just didn't get it. It was widely misunderstood. Some Soviet critics, and even another giant of cinema, Sergei Eisenstein, accused it of formalism. Basically, they thought it was all flashy tricks with no substance. It took until the 1960s, when the film was rediscovered, for people to really start recognizing its genius.
And you can really see its influence spread over time.
The film's whole observational style was a direct inspiration from major movements like cinema verite in France and direct cinema over here in North America. And that fast-paced, rapid-fire editing, it became the go-to blueprint for music videos and commercials in the 80s and beyond. Honestly, almost any modern dynamic documentary you watch today owes something to what Vertov started.
So, when you boil it all down, what's the big takeaway? Man with a movie camera did so much more than just document the world. It completely changed our relationship with movies. It gave us a totally new visual language. It proved that cinema could be more than just storytelling. It could be a way of thinking, a way of analyzing the world around us. In a very real sense, it taught us all a new way to see.
And that leaves us with one last, pretty big thought. This film is almost 100 years old, but this idea of a mechanical eye capturing life, well, that feels more relevant now than ever, doesn't it? We live in an age where cameras are everywhere. So you have to wonder, if Vertov's Kino eye could see our world today, what kind of unfiltered, maybe even uncomfortable, truths would it reveal about us?